Hey, what's up? This is Hatch 86 Films, and you're rocking with Media House News.
Welcome to Media House Entertainment.
Oh, shoot. You just got shot by Shooter Trav.
Yo, this your boy Shooter Trav. We back live and direct with another interview. I'm out here in the Bay Area with it today. This is the Bay Area, right? I ain't saying that. Well, okay. So, but let the people know who we got on the platform today, man.
This is Josh Fields from Hatch 86 Films, also known as Hatch.
Okay. How you feeling today, man? We finally linking up.
Yeah.
I'm out here. But what you got going on today, man? You had a corporate shoot earlier today, right?
Yeah, just had a corporate shoot for autonomous vehicle company. Make all types of like working vehicles that drive themselves around the work site.
Yeah.
The money maker.
The money maker. So I know you do a lot of music videos, but what do you specialize in? Are you just kind of commercials, music videos? Like, what's your specialty?
I mean, I guess I'd say I specialize in music videos, but I do it all. The corporate stuff is where the money comes from, and the music video is the passion. Okay. Let's take it back to the beginning, though, because you've been in the game for a long time, but just take it back to when you first picked up a camera. So I first picked up a camera in 2001 probably, filming skateboarding with my friends.
Okay, you an OG in the game, right?
So I was shooting on when I first started, a Sony Handycam, shooting on high 8 tapes, which is, it's funny because that's what I shot on. That was the best you could get your hands on back then. Mm-hmm. But that's what the kids now are shooting on as like the retro shit, you know?
Yeah,
and
that's what you started
at. VHS.
Right.
It's actually called high 8. That's the name of the tape. So that's what I started shooting on when I was, 13 years old. And I shot skateboard videos from the age of 13 to 21.
Okay. And what was the motivation behind it with getting on the camera? Was it something you fell into? Yeah,
I basically just fell into it. It's natural that as skateboarders you want to film what you guys are doing. And I ended up being the guy that was filming. And I enjoyed it, so I just stuck with it. And I was the guy that shot everywhere we went. I was shooting the videos. I was editing them, putting together a DVD. We'd have premieres at the end of every year. And yeah.
Okay. And just talk about too a little different. We're gonna get into because like you said, you've been doing it for a while now, and like the new generation of like videographers is different nowadays. Like you can like just drag and drop and add plugins and all kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So just talk about that though, like the difference between the older videographers, video directors, and then like the newer age directors. It's kind of easier now, you think?
Yeah, I mean, before you needed to know everything between lighting to camera settings, and nowadays these cameras are good in low light, so you almost don't need to light something. They got amazing autofocus. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people just have everything on auto ISO, auto shutter, so they're not doing anything but pressing the record button. Whereas back in the day, we didn't have that luxury. You needed to have the settings dialed in. You needed to light the scene. You needed to learn.
Yeah, so you had to learn. Like you just said something super important, like a key word you had to learn. Like a lot of times today, like people just going out there grabbing a camera and equipment and just, I guess YouTube just picking up little tidbits like that.
Yeah, and then it's fine for that level of stuff with the DSLR, but when you get to a certain level of cameras, they don't do that anymore. They're not shooting auto. They don't have autofocus. So you gotta learn at some point. So you might as well learn from the beginning.
I put up a post earlier too that it's not all about the gear. It's about how you work. You gotta know how to work a camera. Yeah. Like you can have a camcorder and it come out super fire. You know what I'm saying? You just got to know what you got to do. Or if you can have a red camera and it come out trash. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like
I have some work that was shot on a Canon that before 4K was a thing, and I'm still proud of the work because it was shot correct.
Right.
So.
Right. And how did you learn the correct way? Did you go to school for it, or you just picked up
So it started like through skateboarding, you know, messing with around with cameras. I learned on my own, and then I did go to film school after high school.
Okay, so that taught you like the correct ways of shooting and lighting and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about music videos. When did you get into the music videos? So you did the skating videos up until you were like 21. When did like the music videos kind of kick in?
I started music videos a few years after I stopped skateboarding videos, so probably 2011 or 12, somewhere around there. While I was in film school, I strictly just did film projects related to the school, so short films and, you know, little short things like that. And after film school is when I got into music videos, which is what I always wanted to do.
Okay.
That is one regret that I had, but I didn't actively pursue it until later. But at the same time, it wasn't as easy to do back then. Like the camera that I could afford back then, the video didn't look anything like the shit you saw on MTV, when videos were on MTV.
Okay, yeah.
But now the camera that someone can afford, you know, $1,000, whatever, is kind of close to, you know. So it was
a different time.
I didn't even have the tools available to be shooting music videos at the level that I wanted to.
That you wanted to. Yeah. So, you know, talk about the early days, though. So you started out with a Canon. Was it a Canon that you started shooting your music videos? Not the skate videos, but the music videos?
Yeah, my first camera after that was a Canon 60D. Shooting on that, you know, 1080p was the best it could do. I had a broken on 24mm cinema lens.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was like my one lens. I shot everything on that one lens. And then just grew up from there.
So even then, during those days, like, say, pricing wise, so how much were you getting, like, charging for music videos? It was like $300 to $500. Because now I'm just working up to the, nowadays you can tell, you know, you working with the bigger budget videos and stuff like that, or at least it looked that way. You know what I'm saying? Like your work is crazy. So just talk about the growth from those days, because, you know, most of everybody start out shooting $200, $300, $400 videos, and some people stuck there right now. And, you know, they will want to hear some advice on how you grew from doing that to where you at right now.
Yeah. So first, I don't know, 2-3 videos were 100% free. Like no, nothing, not even a free meal from the artist. Like I was out there shooting it for a whole day, editing the video for no pay at all, and that was fine because I didn't have anything to prove myself. I needed that video to then go to the next person and say, look, this is what I can do. This is what I'm going to charge. So I'd say the first, not even getting paid, but the first time I was getting money out of the artist was I said, hey, look, I need this lens. I need to rent this lens. It's $75. I'm like, all right, cool. So I was doing a video for the price of the lens rental, you know, and that was still just to build my portfolio. I would say the first time I charged money and actually made money was probably $200.
Okay.
And I was at that range for a little bit, 200 to 300, and then, you know, once I started improving, I would just every once in a while increase it, basically by hundreds. You know, be like, you know, my quality's outgrown this
number right here
price. I'm gonna go up 3, and then, you know, just kept doing that, and then once I got to a certain level, then I started introducing more crew. You know, now it's this much more, but I'm coming with 2 people.
I'm coming with this right here.
Not coming alone, and just kept
elevating
like that.
Yeah. And can you break down that too, as far as like working with a budget? Because a lot of people never worked with a budget before, don't know how that works. So say if you got a $10,000 budget for a video, like, could you break down kind of exactly how that $10,000 is spent? You know, you got to pay your crew and different people like that. Like,
yeah. So it's different for every single project. I mean, one video that has the same budget as another one might be totally different in what you're spending on. You might have a location that's $500 an hour. You're shooting there for 6 hours, that's $3,000 right there of your budget.
Right, gone.
Or another video, same $10,000 budget, maybe you're shooting outside, so there's no cost at all. So that $3,000 can go towards more crew or more equipment. So it just depends on what the whole scenario is. Or maybe there's more extras that are needed, more models, you're paying for that. Maybe there's props or a rental car or whatever it might be. So I just tailor every video to itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how do you come up with your treatments though to your videos? Like once you hear the song and listen to it, do you write the treatments and stuff like that, or you got a team? Is it like a team effort?
It's usually me writing the treatment. Sometimes an artist will come to me with a general idea and I'll build off of it. But when someone sends me the song, I usually listen to it when I'm driving, and I'll just play it on repeat. I usually initially get an idea off the first listen, and then I'll just grow off that idea and just play the song back to back and just slowly grow the concept.
Yeah, okay. And let's just talk about the music scene a little bit out here in the Bay Area, man. I noticed you work with like a lot of the big artists out here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of artists out here that's doing their thing. Just talk about the scene out here a little bit, man. Like I did, of course you've been putting in work to work your way up to that. But just talk about like your first big video, not your first big one, but let's just talk about like the E-40 video that I sang with Too Short and E-40. The UPS, it was like the UPS truck and that. Like how did that come about?
So I first met E-40 and Too Short. They were the feature on a Filthy Rich song. Right Now remix. So I met them through that. Made a connection with Too Short's manager and E-40, and then just stayed in contact with them. And then I did a few videos with Too Short before that. One was called Sexy Dancer, and I can't remember the other one, but I did at least two with Too Short before that one, and then shot that Ain't Gonna Do It off their joint album.
Oh yeah. And what was that? The video is crazy. So what the vibes was like that? Did you come up with a treatment for that, or what was that?
That was one that they approached me with a general idea.
Okay.
I guess there was another director before who, I think that's what it was. This is crazy. So it was a Too Short song only. The director wrote a treatment for it, whatever. It was greenlit. They're about to do it, and then that versus battle happened with E-40 and Too Short.
Okay.
And then they're like, all right, wait, hold up. Like, let's do a joint album. Let's throw E-40's verse on this song and da-da-da. Once this director found out that E-40 was on the song, his vision was messed up, and he backed out of the video.
Wow.
So then they came to me with the general concept, and I built off of it. But I just couldn't believe that E-40 was added to a Too Short song, and that made the director back out.
And that made the director back out.
Craziest thing I ever heard.
And it never got no real reason behind that. Like,
no, it just their creative vision was messed up by that addition.
yeah. But the opportunity fell in your lap, so that, you know what I mean, that was dope. Let's talk about the Yada Bands video shoot though. I seen you had the water tower and all of that going crazy. Talk about that, because y'all made it rain.
Yeah.
In the video.
Yeah, so Yada Bands is a young kid here from the Bay. He's with Empire Distribution. His rep Furious reached out to me about doing the video, sent me the song, and I don't know what it was about the video, but it just made me feel like it needs to be raining the whole time in this video. It was like a, sad song about a relationship, and it just felt like it needed rain. So, I set up this whole video in LA. It's the first time I ever worked with rain like that.
Okay.
We had these 15-foot rain towers, 2 different towers, and it was hooked up to a water truck that was pumping water out at like a crazy PSI, and yeah, that was an experience to work with the rain like that.
Yeah. Sometimes can you not say if you come up with a treatment and a vision, is the vision sometimes too big for the artist? to the point where they like, okay, that's too big. Like, we can't cover that budget.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely been times like that, and that was almost one that happened. So I wrote this whole treatment off that song, presented to him, gave him all the prices for everything, and the rain is not. You think that, what is, it's a truck with some water in it. It's pumping out, coming out of these things. Like, how much can that cost? Like, it costs a lot.
Yeah.
So when I gave them the numbers, they were kind of shocked, and I was like, you know what, we can cut the rain out of the video. Everything's the same. The whole story's the same. There's just no rain. And they were like, no, we need the rain. Like, we're gonna pay whatever it takes. So
yeah, to get it done.
Yeah,
that makes sense. What I want to get on now is the what is it, Cody and Shike, Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like? Because there's been a lot of talk about this, but when Kanye got to a certain level, he started working with bigger name directors, like instead of the guys that was with him. What's your take on that situation?
I mean, watching that documentary, like, I'd say 5 minutes into it, I knew exactly where that part of the story was going. I felt it, because I've been in that situation. I've felt that, where there's an artist you believe in, and you're doing free stuff. You're being at studio sessions at whatever time of the night, and you're doing all that because you believe in them. And eventually, it's gonna take you somewhere, because it's like an unspoken thing. Like, you had my back then, and I'm gonna take you with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that part when he said that he was gonna get Hype Williams to shoot Jesus Walks.
Yeah, like, because it's Hype Williams, like
like, that hit me. Like, I felt like I had been, shooting with him, and like that happened to me. Like, that hit way too close to home.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens way too often too, man. I've been saying it happen a few times. The artists blow up, and the guys that was holding them down. That's why it's better to build a brand and to just running around with an artist or putting your all into one artist. You know. Like, so you mentioned Empire earlier, working with a couple of artists. I know I noticed you worked with a few Empire artists, man. You shot the Jack Boy video, the diss to Kodak Black, the response to Kodak Black.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that video shoot and how did that come about with you getting connected with Jack Boy?
So I started working with Jack Boy probably 2 years before that. It was a song with him and Tech. And Ghazi from Empire hit me up directly for that. So that was kind of crazy, just to get directly contacted by Ghazi. Like, yo, got a video for you. Like, I think I was given like a couple days notice, and I put together the treatment, and we just got it done. And then I did one or two more for Jack Boy after that, and then came the Don't Force My Hand.
Okay. Yeah. And that got like, what, 10 million?
Yeah, it's at like 10 right now. Yeah. This is crazy, because that was another one where I was only given, 3 days notice.
Okay, you just made it happen. Just
Jack Boy's in the Bay a lot, because Empire's in the Bay. So he was going to be here, and, I was just told, this is the one day that's going to work, like, let's make it happen. And I set up this entire shoot. There's actually, in the video, you see 2 scenes, and we actually shot 4 or 5 scenes.
Okay.
But Jack Boy was just intent on keeping the video simple, so he cut out other scenes we shot. So you just see the one scene that's like a silhouette in front of the window, and then one scene with the fire.
Okay.
But at the time, I didn't agree, and after the fact, I see his vision, and it worked.
Yeah. So is that your biggest video to date, or what is your biggest video with the most views you probably?
I mean, biggest in terms of views. Yeah, it's that one. Because it was just riding off the beef with that. The beef
with that, yeah. But as far as like I guess like impacting artists or whatever, like what's probably the biggest artist you work with? Legendary. We already know E-40 Too Short. We got them, but
it's kind of like the shit that I'm like most proud of, and that to me personally is the biggest, doesn't equate to the biggest views. Like I did a video for Lil Jon, and featuring Mac Dre.
Okay, legendary.
And that video doesn't have many views at all. And like Lil Jon is someone I listened to growing up in high school. That was like the anthem at high school dances. And Mac Dre is a legend, and he's not one of those rappers that has verses out there floating around that people can just buy and be like, oh, featuring Mac Dre. I might be wrong, but I don't think there's a single song since he died that was featuring Mac Dre. Like this verse was given to Lil Jon directly from Mac Wanda, Mac Dre's mom. You know, full blessing. Here's this verse. Like we haven't given any verses to anybody.
Right.
And the video,
and that's big that you shot that.
Yeah.
You was able to shoot that.
So that's, you know, not many people can say. I mean, I didn't work with Mac Dre, but in a way I kind of did, and not many people can say that. You know, maybe, you know, some old heads that have been around the game for like 30 years can say that, but
you got to go back. You got to go deep.
Nobody else can say that.
Yeah. Let's get into your drone work though, man. I noticed you got like top of the line drone work. So just talking about, do you have you licensed to fly the drone, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm licensed by the FAA, Part 107 license.
Yeah.
I mainly just got that for the corporate type work that needs that. I think what forced me to get it is I had a shoot in Puerto Rico where they hired me to be the drone pilot, and I needed that, so I, you know, booked the first appointment I could to take that test, and I like studied for, I don't know, 72 hours straight, and took that test and passed it by. If I would have got one more question wrong, I would have passed. I would have failed. And yeah, just got it done. But
just got it done.
Yeah.
When you go and do that, do they like teach you how to fly and all of that, or it's like something that you know how to do already before going to get the license?
It's no like physical training stuff. It's all just knowing all the like it's actually, you need to know too much. You need to know stuff that pilots of small airplanes need to know, because the tests are kind of outdated. Like I know how to read a runway. If I look at the number on a runway, I know that runway is headed northwest or whatever it might be. I know how to read weather charts for pilots and crazy stuff that you don't need to know for a drone.
Yeah, but you know.
Yeah.
So what's your drone of choice though that you use?
It's either the DJI Inspire 2, or if I'm trying to be like more compact, the Mavic 3 Cinema.
Yeah.
It's just the Inspire 2 is like a huge case that takes up half of the back of my car, which doesn't allow me to take, you know, more lights or whatever it might be. So it just depends on the project, which drone I'm gonna bring out.
Let's talk about like your sets too. Like you build sets. I know you said something about you know you built a green screen treadmill. So talk about that skill set too, because all around you just killing it, man. So,
yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty handy with tools. So whenever something needs to get built, I can build it, or I have multiple people that are my go-to guys that can build stuff. So whatever the video requires, whether it's, you know, a simple hallway set that we're building, or, you know, a bedroom, or whatever it might be, yeah, we can do it. So
yeah. What about that shot where you had the you know, you it was the city shot, but it's the shot that, you know, through the glass case? Did you build that, or that was something that came like that?
Yeah, so I built that from scratch. You know, I've seen that shot in a few videos before, and I just went out and I did the research on, you know, what that glass needs to be, what material it is, how thick it needs to be, how many pounds per square inch a certain thickness can hold.
Yeah.
I actually initially built that with the thought of having E-40 on it, who's a bigger dude.
Okay, so you built it with specifically
enough weight. Built it, yeah. So that was, anytime I've used it, and, you know, typically an artist is a little sketched out, like, hey, this is cool, like, this is gonna hold me.
Right.
And I just let them know that, this was built to hold
Evil.
bigger dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And talk about, since we're on creativity, talk about the shot where the artist was floating on the floor. Or it looked like he was floating on the floor, and it was a crazy shot. You remember that? So how did you set that up? Did you set that whole concoction up? Because that looked crazy too.
So, yeah, that was just like a shot that I had in my head. I kind of like, mentally built that, envisioned it, and we got there on set. The base of the whole thing was my camera cart. It's an innovative camera cart. And then I stuck 2x4s underneath it, hanging out, strapped those down so that, when the weight's on the edge, it wouldn't teeter. And then the artist laid on it, so he was hanging out the bottom of the cart, and then the camera was on top, and just, again, like ratcheted a tripod down to hold it. And that was one of the things. I've done a few things where people don't see my vision, and, I'm just, instructing people on, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to build this, and people are kind of like leery. They're like, all right, dude, like, it's just not going to work. Like, I can tell, they don't say that, but I can tell that they're like, they think it's a waste of time, and then once it comes together, they're like, oh shit, all right, I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then, there's 9 times out of 10, that's what happens, but then 1 time out of 10, it doesn't work, and then I look stupid.
You look crazy, yeah. So, I mean, what is that like, though, man, when you write a treatment, though, is your vision and they come in, like, nah, we don't want to do any of that. Like, is it like heartbreaking type of shit? Like, what's the feeling like?
Yeah, that's really only happened a couple times. I think one specifically I can think of is with Too Short. We had this whole video where he was essentially chasing a girl. He would see her somewhere across the room, try to get to her. When he got over there, she wasn't there. He would see her at another event, same thing, couldn't get to her. And then finally at the end of the video, he gets to her, and then the featured artist, who's like from a Mexican band, it's his sister or whatever, and he like stops Too Short, and he's like, hey, no, it's my sister, like, she's kind of off limits or whatever, but like, here's 2 other girls, and he sends 2 other girls, so everyone's happy, whatever. So we shoot the whole day leading up to this thing, and then once we get, and this was in the treatment, and as soon as we get to the final scene where this happens, Too Short's like, nah, fuck that, like, this isn't me, I would never let this shit happen. And you're like, what do you mean? So then we just had to improvise, and I think it ended up, we just scratched the whole storyline throughout the thing, and it ended up just being, straightforward music video with performances and B-roll.
Yeah, B-roll to just
but that was like that moment when he was just like, no, fuck that. Like, my heart just dropped. I was like,
yeah, like, what do you mean?
Like, I would have still felt some type of way if that happened when I submitted the treatment.
Yeah.
But it happening, like, on set in front of everyone.
Yeah,
like,
that's a whole different... Yeah. So who do you think is next up? Let's talk about the music scene out here, though, man. Like, who do you feel like... I know it's like a broad question because you work with so many different artists. You're not going to want to leave nobody's name out, but who do you feel like they'll just have that that might be able to take it global out here from the Bay Area?
Yeah, I'd say probably June Poole is one of them. He's a young artist I've been working with a lot over the last year. I think we've done 11 videos, something like that. He's not signed with Empire, but he's kind of working in tandem with them. He's got a strong background behind him, supporting him. He's doing stuff down in LA with a lot of producers, so I think he's ready to go.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And just for the young filmmakers that's going to watch this, man, what's some advice that you could leave with them? They might just be starting out, like I said, filming $200-300 videos, and may be stuck doing that. So just kind of drop some game on them a little bit, man. Just some advice before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I'd say reach out to directors that you look up to that are local, or even if you got to drive 5 hours to meet up with them. offer to PA for free. I mean, I was doing that when I first started out, and I wasn't getting responses. People weren't even letting me help for free. I was just trying to help and learn. The best things I've learned on set have been when I was a PA, because there's not much work to do when you're a PA. There's times where you gotta hustle and carry this, carry that, but then for the most part you just get to sit back and just observe, and you can learn things in school, but there's so much more you can learn being on set and watching professionals do it. So I would just say, reach out to, and don't, some of these guys have a lot of followers and they're not going to see your messages, so don't be discouraged. Just reach out to several people and just get on sets.
Man, keep it going. That's some good sound advice right there. And where can the people find you at, man? What's your social media, Instagrams, and all of that?
So Instagram is Hatch86 Films. Same thing across the board. Twitter, Hatch86 Films. Facebook, Hatch86 Films, and YouTube, same thing as well.
Yeah, man. So y'all heard it here. It's your boy Shooter Trav, man. I'm out here in the Bay Area. I'm about to sign out of here.
Welcome to Media House Entertainment.
Oh, shoot. You just got shot by Shooter Trav.